Hi, this is a tutorial from Microsoft Word for EDUC 502, Introduction to Research. This is to show you some shortcuts and particular qualities of Microsoft Word that are useful when writing an APA-based research paper. Please note that in this demonstration I am working on Microsoft Word for Mac version 2011, so some of your settings may be in different places, but rest assured that all of the versions of Word can do all of the things we're about to see. Let's get started. First thing I do is open a new document in Microsoft Word. I'm going to rescale this so that it fits inside our screen. And here we have our document. The first things that we want to check are our font. Times New Roman, Arial, or Calibri are acceptable options for us to use. We want to make sure that we're in 12 point. That is our acceptable size. And for most of the writing that we do, we want to make sure that we are double spaced. There are certain things like block quotes that will require a different spacing, but we'll get into that later. Once we've checked our font, we want to make sure that our margins are set. I find my margin settings underneath the Layout tab. I can either check from some automatic options that Word has here, or I can fine-tune as necessary. We want to see all ones, 1-inch margins on top, bottom, left, and right. Underneath the Preferences pane, we can find some additional supports for the sort of writing that we will be doing. The spelling and grammar section is particularly useful here. We certainly want to check our spelling. We certainly want to check our grammar. I invite you to look around at all of the different options that Word has to offer here. You can even set a particular writing style. If you're not familiar with academic writing, I would recommend that you choose the formal writing style. We can see some of those settings underneath this Additional Settings tab. For example, if you select the formal writing style, it will look at your sentence structure. It will also make sure that you do not use contractions, and it will keep an eye out for jargon. All of those are good things. Please note that we are going to use the serial or Oxford comma. That means a comma before the last item in a list. That is something that we will always use. We will put our punctuation inside our quotation marks. We will only use one space after a period in between sentences. So the basic framework for our document is set up now. We can look at a few more things to do. We know that the first page in our document is always our cover page. Suppose I could spell some words right. And we'll add the date. Now we know that we need this centered, so we'll highlight that text, and we'll choose the centering alignment right there. Unfortunately, our text is not centered at the moment. We can see there's an indentation left here on our ruler, so we want to fix that to make sure that our text is actually centered. So there's my basic cover page. If I want to add another page, I have the option of scrolling down, hitting return, 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 return over and over again, or I can do the more efficient format and insert a page break. This inserts a space. You can see it highlighted right there, a page break that then sends me to a new page. So I'll change my alignment. I would fix my indentation and begin writing my text here. What's nice about using a page break is that changes I make on one page do not affect the text on another page. Now I did leave something out here. We want to make sure that we include a header. In the Mac version, it's very easy. I can double click and add my running head with whatever title I want. Those of you who have looked closely at the APA guidebook at this point know, however, that it does not say running head on future pages. Unfortunately, the headers are linked in Microsoft Word. That's their purpose. But there is a click for that. We select different first page. For some reason, Word decides to delete the first page, so we'll just cut and paste that text. And then we can have the proper running head. Close out of the header, and here we have this. A couple of other things that we might want to pay attention to. There's another feature called an insert section break. The reason we would want to do that is if we have a large table with lots of information in it, it either won't fit or won't be legible in a in a portrait style page. So what we want to do here is we can come to Insert, Break, Section Break, Next Page, and it'll put this on a new page. Now what the section break allows us to do is to actually change the layout of individual pages. So I can now make this one landscape page in a document of otherwise portrait pages. Do note that this also returns the header to that original cover page style. All we need to do there is uncheck this link to previous. Then I can make changes to this header without affecting anything else. So those are some basics for creating and setting up your initial document. Now I'd like to look at a few keyboard shortcuts. Here I've pasted in some text so that we can have some text to work with. I'll zoom in a little bit. One of the easiest shortcuts to use is a shortcut that allows us to click from one end of a line to the other. The Command arrow key moves my cursor from the left side to the right side. And then if I do Command and the left arrow, it moves it back over here. If I hold Shift while I do this, I can highlight an entire line of text. If after I've done this, I hold the Shift key and push the down arrow, I can highlight subsequent lines of text. If I continue to hold Command and Shift, I can highlight an entire paragraph. This becomes very useful for copy-paste or for editing entire pieces of text. For example, if I want to move one of these bullet point items, I can highlight the item. I can use the Cut command, Command X. And I can move it all the way down to the bottom of the line. It becomes easy to manage lists and to work with documents in that fashion. Those are some nice keyboard shortcuts. Word also has some powerful tools for working and organizing with text that we're going to look at now. What I'm going to do here is insert a section break, make this back into the portrait mode so that I have my more familiar document. And I want to create a references list. So I know that I have to center this. I know that I have to make this bold text. So I'll use the Command B option. Center the alignment here. And I've just pasted in some references. If we look closely at these, though, we can see that they're out of order. Now I can easily go through this list of 5 and put them in alphabetical order, but if we're working with a longer list, 10, 20, 40 references, that can become kind of a hassle. The easiest way to do this is to use my keyboard shortcut. I'll hold down Command and Shift, hit the right arrow and highlight that text, then the down arrow to highlight all of these. I come up to the Table menu, select Sort. By paragraph, I'm sorting text in ascending order. And if I just click OK, Microsoft Word organizes these alphabetically for me. A very, very nice feature. Next shortcut that Word can do for us in terms of working with the actual words in our document involves changing the case of something. For example, if we look at this title, we can see that all of these terms are highlighted, all of these words, are capitalized, and that's not what we should see for this title. So there's a change case feature right here. If I click that, I can then put it into sentence case, lowercase, uppercase, title case. It's in title case right now. I don't really want that. What I actually want is for this to be placed in sentence case. That automatically will make all of these words lowercase. Then I can come in and change the 1A that follows the colon there, and I have a properly capitalized title without having to go through and click on every single one. A last word about the references list here. You'll note that I have a hanging indentation set up by working with these 2 arrows. I have 6-point spacing after my paragraph. And now I want to show you one other additional feature of Word. We can save as a PDF. This will be sure to save all of the formatting that you work so hard to achieve. Those are some basic guidelines for using Word in EDUC 502 Intro to Research.